Okay, so this is our presentation on film noir genre and our film Who Spiked My Drink. So we're going to be talking about the iconography, history, production, marketing and research for our film. Wrong way. So film noir is French for black film or film of the night, which is another way of saying film of the night in French. And yeah.
Film noir started in the early 1940s after the war. Neo-noir is a modern version of film noir. It uses the typical codes and conventions of the old-fashioned film. The film noir genre was actually created in the 1970s by Neo-Frank after it was all the films had already been produced, as it just got to be known as film noir over the time in France.
Yeah, iconography is basically the style of like a genre, and you can see this through like the effects, the camera shots, and the locations and things. So these are a few examples for film noir. They use low-key lighting quite a lot, and this is very important in film noir as it creates a sense of the unknown, danger, suspicion, which is quite good because most film noirs it's like with like crime and detectives and things. And a shot you'll see quite a lot of that is the character will be looking through some blinds out a window and will be silhouetted back in his face. Low angle shots as well is also used. They do that because it can make or it can show like the power levels in like a conversation and the highs and lows with power between two characters. Tilted shots they use quite a bit there as well because you can show like the unease in like a character, like the madness of the situation and things. And props and things you'll see quite a lot in film noir. They have like cigarettes, the rain, the nighttime, the damp alleyways, alcohol, trench coats, and the top hats and things. There are a few main characters which we have used in ours as well, which are seen in film noir a lot. There's generally the main male character, which is again the detective most of the time, which tends to be like tricked by femme fatale. He's a bit of an anti-hero, not very courageous. Then the femme fatale herself, she's a cruel woman, uses men a lot to achieve her own goals. Commonly there's a rivalry between the femme fatale and like the innocent, dutiful woman, which has a relationship with the main male character. The femme fatale is also sometimes seen to like represent the women of that era, as again like growing strength and like power in society and things. So we try to use some of these stuff in our film.
Okay, so for the production of our film, we agreed on several things to do that were going to be definite. So we were definitely going to do it in black and white. We were definitely going to do some green screen stuff. We were definitely going to have kind of an anti-hero type main character with a femme fatale who he interacts with. And we decided we were definitely going to do some Dutch tilts and kind of keep it kind of as close to the genre as we could, whilst also trying to stick to the Hays Code, which we had a bit of a problem with because the actors decided they weren't going to stick completely to the script. So you'll see what I mean in that. And we had quite a few problems with the script with the actors because we had about 6 different actors pull out at different times during the production. So we had 3 of them actually say they would do it, and then they just didn't turn up, or they turned out to be ill 10 minutes before we were supposed to be meeting them. And then we had other times when there was actors decided just not to turn up for a shoot, and etc. etc. Or they had stuff that suddenly came up, and then we had problems with the weather. So several shoots it was drizzling or raining, and so we had to kind of keep the camera and kit covered and get the shoot out of the way as quickly as possible. And then we had problems with audio going missing, shots not being redone because we were too tired, etc. Yeah, and then we kind of we had other problems which kind of they built up and built up. So the script the original script which I wrote has actually been cut down in places, so it's less of what it should be, in my opinion. And then we had problems with the first time we tried green screening.
Yeah, so with the green screen, first of all, when we did it, we tried to do it naive. We were a bit naive with the way we did it first because we didn't try and find a properly controlled environment to do the green screen, so we decided to do it in James Lawless's sort of like driveway. Although it's got like walls around it and everything, it's pretty well sheltered. The smallest breath of wind was flopping the green screen everywhere. So once we tried filming it all, we came back, looked at the footage, realised that we couldn't actually use it because the lights and everything it just didn't work because we weren't in a controlled environment. So what we did was we went home, went back, did some research, and I found the biggest thing that we were doing wrong was through the lighting of the green screen and the subjects. So, because when we were doing the green screen, what you need is the even colour or the even light all over the whole thing. So no bits are like overexposed compared to other bits and stuff like that. But what you also need to do is light the subjects differently or with different lights than they'll actually use on the green screen, which was what we didn't actually realise before we did it. So what we did was we used different lights to light the subjects inside the car, so they were holding
They were holding these little tungsten lights
yeah.
that were at James's house.
Yeah, so we used them, they were holding them to light themselves up, which gave them a completely different colour to green screen, so it was much easier when we put it into After Effects to use the key lighting to get rid of all the green in the background without getting any sort of the greens that we wanted that were sort of in on the subject. So the second time was a success. After that, focus on the marketing. So, as you can see with the film noir sort of advertising side of stuff, they use like painted posters and stuff. So they have posters that were simply painted sort of stuff, and that was sort of the posters that we used because it was the 1940s.
It was a lot harder to get photographs into posters, whereas it was a lot cheaper to actually get an artist to paint a poster-sized thing, and they were able to be a lot more creative with it because they could do colour and they could represent a lot of the kind of lighting and stuff of the genre with the lighting on the portraits.
Yeah, because when they use lighting a lot in the posters to like have dark sides of people's faces, they have one side of the person's face lit up like really bright, then the other side of the face is totally blacked out. So it sort of gives them sort of a darker edge. There are many other ways of advertising though. There's posters, there's trailers which are important to use because they weren't used back then because you couldn't like screen trailers anyway. You'd have to take some to the cinemas to actually show the trailer, and it took a lot more work than they actually needed to do. So with trailers, in film noir they didn't bother. And social networking is another good way of sort of advertising a film because if you get one person who goes up on Facebook and then posts, oh, this film's really great, their friends see it, they want to go see it, it starts a chain reaction and loads of people want to see it. Unfortunately that wasn't around in the 1940s either. Neither was the internet, but the internet is good as well because with both social networking and internet you can target your market a lot better than just throwing posters out around the streets.
It also helped that main kind of social networking that you could do back in the 40s and the 50s was word of mouth, really.
Yeah. Then there's promotional events as well. They are when you use like celebrities or other famous people and you get them to come to watch your film and then you publicise that and say that, oh, this person said this about their film or whatever.
Get them to endorse it.
Yeah, and then what they can do is people will start thinking, oh right, my favourite celebrity's seen that, I want to go and see it now to see what they're on about. Then also you've got merchandising, so that thing like t-shirts and that sort of thing, which basically allows your audience to sort of become a walking advertisement. So if they're wearing a t-shirt with your film's logo on it, then if somebody sees it in the street, they'll think, oh right there. So they're basically walking advertisement. But we chose to go with just a simple poster because that was what noir films usually did at the time. Unfortunately, we couldn't get drawing or a painting, but that's what we've got.
This was done by both James and John, so congrats to them. Yeah. So,
I guess it's as good as yours.
Well then, let's give them a call, tell them the news. How was the old fella?
Same as usual. Too distracted by business to care about you or I. To start causing trouble.
So this phone call will be the first he knows of this. Oh, this will be fun.
This is Frank. Well, I've been to wonder where she'd gone. Sure, it didn't take that long to have dinner.
Well, Frankie boy, you know the deal. I get the money you took, and you get the girl alive. No negotiations.
Very well, Spike. Where do you want me to drop the money?
You drop off by around the back of the warehouse. I expect it to be there like 3. Well, honey, you still got it.
You enjoying this, aren't you?
You have no idea.
You'll be back with your boyfriends, and you'll forget it never happened.
This is only just getting started. You shouldn't have crossed Frank. He'll like the thought with you.
You should have double-crossed me then. Only knocked you to get the right foot in line. You're his favourite. You're his weak spot.
I don't want to be his prize anymore. I could be yours instead. I'd really piss Frank off.
To see your point, being a laptop, jumping through hoops for treats, brings him on down.
You know what would really make him mad? If we took the money too.
I like your thinking. Let me get this for you.
Maybe now you understand. You don't get to leave unless I say so. Without me, you don't exist. I can crush you with a word. I can make people forget who you are. Blood's in there. I'm the boss. You don't do anything without my say so. You do what you're told when you're told. I can make it all better. I can burn you from the inside out. Slowly. Painfully. It's your last chance. Told Alana you might just make it out alive. If you dare cross me again, I will take you down. I'll take your family down. I'll kill everyone who you ever cared about. Then I'll burn you in a living hell. You will never see the light of day again. That was never your money. You would never seen a penny of that if it weren't for me. You own the spine. You'd be face down in the gutter somewhere if it weren't for me. Your life and everything in it belongs to me. What's it going to be then, Spike? You're going to try and fight me? You're going to stay whipped AOI.
I don't know. I just don't think any chances. Keep a whole outfit under observation. Every detail of all of your lives. It wasn't hard to spot this one. Set Sherry up in place and voila! Here we are. You got it taken away, babe. I had other options. Like you driver.
Even like, I'll pay him.
And I pay you more. I expect you back at work tomorrow. I have a job for you.
Oh, is that it?
No, let's pause that.
Yeah, let's definitely not play that.
Okay, is that your presentation finished?
Yeah.
Right.
Unless there's any questions.
Are there any questions?
How did you work with black and white effect? Did you find this balloon cut stuff?
Basically, I started out doing it the really kind of awkward way by adding three-way color corrector to everything and just dragging all the saturation out, and then kind of adding more blacks and more whites. And but that ended up just taking too long, so we added an adjustment layer, made it completely black and white for the whole thing, and then individually adjusted everything from there.
So we dropped that effect onto the adjustment layer, and that just works.
Yeah, a couple of points I'd like to make though is the original script I felt was a bit more menacing than that ended up being, because it seems to make a jump where it's like quite light-hearted because of the music and stuff, and then he's threatening to kill him and his whole family. Whereas there was stuff in the script that kind of added a bit more to that first bit. And then another thing to point out is with the shots, with a classic kind of film noir, they tend to be very same shots, so it seems to be, generally in the conversation, it's one shot of each character, and it tends to just cut between them.
Okay, so on the subject of film noir, this is an open question. How closely do you think this film kind of hits the film noir genre as the rest of you know it? Sorry, Ben?
Decently.
Go on, say a bit more.
Like with all the shots and everything, black and white, just look like film noir.
Okay. Anybody?
Music works.
Okay, so for me the music doesn't quite work. But,
It's a bit too light-hearted.
it's a bit too jazzy for me, yeah.
Sometimes I felt like it was sort of like a late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, that music was found in about 2 minutes.
And,
It was just
yeah,
what I could find.
is that more Western music?
Oh, that was supposed to be noir guitar, it was called, on the soundtrack. Yeah, it doesn't really fit, I don't think, to be honest.
I think that's perhaps more accurate than the jazz, but it's. I think because we all know that music plays such a massive part in establishing the emotional tone of a film and fitting in with the genres that we understand. And for that music there, I mean, I think for me it does shift it a little bit, which is a shame because I think you've done really well with the shot choices and the black and the white works very, very well. Some of the shots are a little bit underexposed.
That was because of the screen.
I mean, I was looking on the computer as well. Some of the shots are definitely a little bit underexposed, but for the most part, I think that was generally pretty good. Yeah. So, what about the marketing plans? Do they think that those are fair? Those are accurate?
Could have been more in depth.
In what way?
Like, just, I thought it was more focused on problems and stuff like that rather than the actual marketing.
Like ways, like rather than how you would individually market it, more of ways that people would market all things rather than tailoring to specific.
Okay, so they didn't potentially address the needs of this film. Okay.
At the same time, you create a film now, but you're marketing as if you were marketing it in the 1940s, 50s. There's been like sort of neo-noir films that have come out recently, like Gangster Scores, stuff like that.
Blade Runner.
Well, not even more recent than that. I suppose like, yeah, you were marketing more as if you were making it in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, no, that's a fair enough point. Although I really like the idea of a painted poster because I think for me that potentially that retro thing. You know, there's a lot of kind of retro items. Weren't you for talking with in great detail and depth about potentially approaching kind of Homes and Gardens magazine and things like that to talk about, you know, noir style and things like that?
That was, yeah, we were going to sort of use that as like a research sort of thing, that we could contact people who were like in that sort of business to like what they'd advise on like shop sets and stuff. Then we thought that we could actually, as soon as like as you said, the retro styles coming back, that we could in a way market that towards them sort of magazines. Cause
put a feature in a magazine.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about kind of the like if it's a kitchen magazine, talk about kind of.
Yeah.
Because
for reference, you picked out that really good article in was it BBC Homes and Gardens or something like that, where they'd done a feature on the Great Gatsby, hadn't they? And they said how you could achieve the Great Gatsby's style. And I thought that was a really nice angle for you to take. Okay. Anything else we could say about film noir? No. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's stop that.